Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a moment in the journey of life when you feel the stirrings of something greater within you, a calling, a purpose, a path that seems uniquely yours. It is as if a hand has reached out to anoint you, setting you apart for something sacred. But instead of filling you with joy, it often leaves you feeling lonely, stuck and profoundly misunderstood. When life calls you to a higher purpose, it doesn't simply elevate you to new heights, it requires you to leave behind the familiar. This process, though profound, often brings with it a deep sense of isolation. It is as though the very act of transformation sets you apart from the world you once knew, leaving you adrift between who you were and who you are becoming. This is not an accident, it is a necessary part of the journey. When you are anointed for something greater, the nature of that calling shifts your perspective. You begin to see the world differently. What once seemed important may now feel trivial, and what was once invisible to you might suddenly hold profound significance. In this shift, the relationships, activities, and environments that once felt comfortable may no longer align with your evolving sense of self. Friends may notice a difference in you, but they may not understand it. Conversations that once brought joy might now seem shallow or unfulfilling. This disconnection can feel deeply lonely, but it is a natural part of growth. Transformation requires shedding old identities and roles. It is like shedding an old skin. It can't happen without discomfort. The people around you might cling to the version of you they once knew, not out of malice, but because it is what they recognize. Meanwhile, you are stepping into a version of yourself that even you are just beginning to understand. This creates a gap, a space where you are no longer fully part of the life you had, yet not fully arrived at the life you are moving toward. This isolation is not a punishment, it is an invitation. It forces you to confront yourself in ways you never had to before. Without the distractions of the familiar, you are left to wrestle with your thoughts, your doubts, and your hopes. This solitude can be daunting, but it is also where the deepest transformation takes place. It is in the quiet moments when there is no one else to turn to that you begin to hear the whispers of your own soul. The isolation that comes with transformation also serves to protect the sacredness of the process. Growth is delicate and vulnerable in its early stages, much like a seedling pushing through the soil. It needs space to develop roots before it can withstand the pressures of the outside world. The loneliness you feel is not abandonment, it is a cocoon shielding you as you prepare to emerge into a new version of yourself. Many people mistake this period of isolation as a sign that they are on the wrong path. They assume that if they were truly aligned with their purpose, everything would feel harmonious. But the truth is, transformation is rarely harmonious at first. It is disruptive, messy, and often painful. Yet it is in this disruption that the old is dismantled to make way for the new. As you navigate this process, it is crucial to remember that you are not truly alone. While you may feel distanced from the people and places you once knew, the very force that called you to transform is with you. Whether you call it God, the universe, or your inner self, that presence is guiding you, even when the way forward seems unclear. Over time, the isolation begins to feel less like a void and more like a gift. You start to appreciate the clarity it brings, the space it provides for reflection and growth. You realize that the relationships and connections meant to support your new path will come in time, and they will be richer and more aligned with your purpose. In the end, transformation is not about losing connection, it is about finding deeper, truer connections with yourself, with others, and with the divine. The isolation you feel now is not a barrier but a bridge, carrying you to the life you are meant to live. When you feel stuck, as though your life is at a standstill, it is easy to mistake that stillness for failure. The frustration of wanting to move forward but finding no clear path can be overwhelming. Yet what feels like stagnation is often something far deeper and more profound. It is preparation. In moments of stillness, the divine is at work within you, cultivating the strength, wisdom, and clarity you will need for the journey ahead. The human spirit is naturally restless. We equate movement with progress, action with achievement. So when life halts, we question ourselves and the path we are on. But true growth often happens in the quiet, unseen moments when nothing appears to be changing. Just as seeds germinate beneath the surface out of sight, your spirit is growing in ways you cannot yet perceive. Stagnation teaches patience, a virtue that is essential but rarely comfortable. It demands that you sit with your discomfort, your doubts, and your uncertainties without rushing to escape them. In this stillness, you are being shaped not by external events but by the internal work of learning to trust the process. This trust is the foundation for the resilience and faith that will sustain you in the challenges to come. It is during these periods that your roots deepen. When you feel stuck, you are often being called to look inward, to examine the beliefs and fears that may have gone unacknowledged in the rush of daily life. This self-reflection is not idle, it is necessary groundwork. Without strong roots, any forward momentum would be fleeting, easily disrupted by obstacles or setbacks. Being stuck also protects you from premature action. Sometimes we are so eager to move forward that we act before we are ready, before the path has fully revealed itself. This often leads to missteps and missed opportunities. Stagnation forces you to pause, to wait until the timing is right. It teaches you that some doors remain closed not because you are unworthy, but because they are not yet meant to open. In this waiting, you are being prepared for what lies ahead. Think of an archer drawing back their bowstring. For a moment, the arrow is motionless, seemingly held back. But that tension is what gives it the power to soar. Your periods of stagnation are like the drawn bowstring, building the energy and direction you need for the next phase of your journey. It is important to reframe your perspective during these times. Instead of asking, "Why am I stuck?" ask, "What am I being prepared for?" This shift in thinking transforms frustration into curiosity and opens your heart to the lessons of the moment. Often these lessons are subtle, a deeper understanding of yourself, an unexpected skill, or a new perspective on an old problem. Over time, they accumulate, equipping you with everything you need to take the next step when the time is right. There is also a profound humility that comes from stagnation. When you are forced to wait, to confront the limits of your control, you come to understand that progress is not always in your hands. This surrender is not defeat, it is alignment with a greater force at work in your life. It reminds you that you are part of a larger story, one that unfolds in its own time and way. When the stillness finally gives way to movement, you will look back and see the purpose of it all. What felt like wasted time will reveal itself as preparation. The insights gained, the patience cultivated, the strength developed, all of it will come together to propel you forward. So if you find yourself in a season of stagnation, resist the urge to fight against it. Trust that this stillness is not an absence of progress, but a vital part of your journey. The divine is at work, even when you cannot see it, preparing you for the life you are meant to live. When life sets you apart, placing you in a space of solitude, it can feel like a heavy burden. The absence of companionship, the silence, and the void left by familiar connections can be overwhelming. Yet within this solitude lies an incredible opportunity, a path to strength that is impossible to uncover in the noise and distractions of the world. Solitude, though uncomfortable, is a transformative space where you come face to face with the essence of who you are. In the quiet, there are no masks to wear, no roles to play, and no expectations to meet. You are left with yourself, your thoughts, your fears, your dreams. For many, this is an intimidating prospect. We often fill our lives with activity, conversation, and external validation to avoid confronting the deeper truths within us. Solitude removes these distractions, creating a space where you can listen to your own voice, unfiltered and true. This is not an easy process. In solitude, you encounter the parts of yourself that are usually buried, unresolved doubts, insecurities, and past wounds. But these moments of confrontation are also moments of clarity. They show you what needs healing, what needs nurturing, and what needs to be let go. In this way, solitude becomes a crucible, burning away what no longer serves you and leaving behind the raw material of your strength. True strength is not found in avoiding solitude, but in embracing it. It is in learning to be alone without feeling lonely, to find fulfillment in your own presence. This self-reliance is not about shutting out the world, it is about discovering that you are whole, even in the absence of others. The world often teaches us to seek strength outside ourselves in relationships, achievements, or possessions. But solitude reveals the deeper truth. Strength is an internal state, one that arises from knowing and accepting yourself fully. In solitude, you also develop a profound sense of clarity. Without the constant input of others' opinions and expectations, you begin to see your own values and desires more clearly. This clarity helps you align with your true purpose, rather than being swayed by external pressures. Decisions made in solitude are often more authentic and grounded because they come from a place of deep self-awareness. Moreover, solitude cultivates resilience. Life will inevitably present challenges, and there will be moments when you must stand alone without the support of others. The strength gained from solitude equips you to face these moments with courage and grace. It teaches you that even when the world feels distant, you are never truly alone because you carry within you the tools to navigate any storm. Solitude is also a space for creativity and inspiration. Many of history's greatest thinkers, artists, and leaders found their most profound insights in moments of solitude. When the distractions of daily life fall away, your mind is free to wander, to dream, and to explore ideas that might never surface in a crowded room. The stillness of solitude is fertile ground for innovation and self-expression. As you walk this path, it's essential to distinguish between solitude and isolation. Solitude is a choice, a deliberate stepping away to connect with yourself and the divine. Isolation, on the other hand, is a sense of being cut off, often accompanied by feelings of rejection or despair. Solitude empowers you, isolation diminishes you. The key is to approach solitude with intention and openness, recognizing it as a gift rather than a punishment. Ultimately, solitude is not an endpoint, but a phase in the larger journey of growth and transformation. It prepares you to re-engage with the world from a place of wholeness and authenticity. When you emerge from solitude, you bring with you a strength that is unshakable, a clarity that guides your steps, and a deep connection to yourself that no external force can disrupt. So, when life calls you into solitude, embrace it. Walk into the quiet not with fear, but with trust. For it is in that stillness, in the sacred space of being alone, that you will discover the strength you never knew you had. The feeling of being stuck or isolated can often cloud your perception of progress. In those moments, it's easy to believe that nothing is happening, that you're failing or falling behind. But beneath the surface of discomfort lies something powerful, evidence of growth. The very struggles you face, the unease and tension, are not signs of stagnation but of transformation. Growth often announces itself not with ease but with challenge, signaling that you are moving beyond who you were into who you are becoming. Growth is rarely straightforward or linear. It does not always come with visible markers of success or accomplishment. Instead, it often begins in the hidden internal realms of your being. The discomfort you feel is a sign that something is shifting. Just as a seed must break apart in the dark soil before it can sprout, your growth may feel messy or painful at first. This breaking is not destruction, it is the necessary process of transformation. One of the clearest pieces of evidence of growth is the discomfort of outgrowing your old self. The habits, mindsets, and relationships that once felt natural may no longer fit. You might find yourself questioning things you once accepted without hesitation. This questioning is not a sign of weakness or confusion, it is the sign of a mind expanding and a soul evolving. Growth requires letting go of what no longer aligns with your path, even when doing so feels uncertain or difficult. Another marker of growth is the presence of resistance. When you are called to step into a greater version of yourself, it is natural to encounter internal and external challenges. Fear, self-doubt, and even opposition from others are not indications that you're on the wrong path. On the contrary, they often arise precisely because you are moving in the right direction. Resistance is a natural reaction to change, and overcoming it strengthens your resolve and deepens your commitment to your journey. Growth also reveals itself in the way you respond to setbacks and struggles. As you evolve, you may notice that challenges you once found overwhelming no longer have the same power over you. Perhaps you approach problems with more patience or face fears with a newfound courage. These subtle shifts in your perspective and behavior are evidence that you are growing, even if the external circumstances of your life remain unchanged for now. Another profound sign of growth is your increasing ability to sit with discomfort without rushing to escape it. Growth demands that you confront your doubts, insecurities, and pain rather than avoiding them. When you learn to embrace these emotions as part of the process, you become stronger and more resilient. You realize that discomfort is not something to be feared, but a sign that you are stepping into new territory, stretching beyond your comfort zone. The relationships in your life may also reflect your growth. As you change, you may attract new connections that align with your evolving self while others fall away. These shifts can be painful, but they are also a testament to your growth. They show that you are creating space for the people and experiences that support your transformation. At its core, growth is about becoming more authentic. It is the process of shedding the layers of conditioning and expectation that have obscured your true self. The moments when you feel most vulnerable, uncertain, or challenged are often the moments when you are closest to uncovering who you really are. Finally, growth is evident in your increasing trust in the process of life. You begin to understand that progress is not always visible or immediate. You develop faith in the unseen work that is happening within you and around you, trusting that every experience, no matter how difficult, is shaping you into the person you are meant to be. So, if you are feeling stuck or struggling, take a moment to reflect. Look closely at your discomfort, your resistance, and your shifts in perspective. These are not signs of failure, but evidence of growth. Celebrate these markers, no matter how small they may seem, for they are proof that you are evolving, transforming, and becoming. Growth is not always easy, but it is always worth it. And in time you will look back and see that even the hardest moments were part of the journey that brought you closer to your true self. Life often unfolds in ways that defy our understanding. Plans we meticulously lay out falter, paths we thought were clear become foggy, and the progress we expect can feel agonizingly slow. In these moments, it's easy to lose faith, to question why things aren't working out as we hoped. But this is when you're called to trust the divine process, the unseen flow of life that works not according to our timelines, but in alignment with a greater wisdom. Trusting the divine process means accepting that there is a purpose to the waiting, the challenges, and even the setbacks. It requires surrendering the need to control every outcome and embracing the idea that life is unfolding exactly as it should, even if it doesn't match your expectations. This trust is not passive resignation, but an active choice to align yourself with the flow of the universe rather than fighting against it. One of the hardest parts of this trust is the waiting. When you are called to something greater, it often doesn't happen overnight. The vision you hold for your life may take months or even years to manifest. During this time, you might feel stuck, questioning if you are on the right path. But waiting is not an indication that nothing is happening. It is the season when the groundwork is being laid, often beneath the surface where you cannot yet see it. Just as a seed must remain buried in the soil before it sprouts, your purpose requires time to develop. This waiting period teaches patience and perseverance. It forces you to confront the parts of yourself that demand instant gratification or certainty. As you learn to sit with the unknown, you develop resilience and a deeper sense of faith, not just in the divine process, but in your own ability to navigate it. Trusting the process doesn't mean you won't face doubts or moments of frustration. It means choosing to believe that even those doubts are part of your growth. Challenges, too, are a critical part of the divine process. When things don't go as planned, it's tempting to see them as obstacles or failures. But often, challenges are life's way of preparing you for the path ahead. They force you to develop the skills, strength, and perspective you'll need to handle the opportunities that are coming. What feels like rejection or failure may actually be redirection, steering you away from what is not meant for you and towards something far greater than you could imagine. To trust the divine process is to embrace the idea that timing is everything. The right opportunities, people, and experiences will come into your life not when you want them, but when you are truly ready for them. This readiness is not always about your external circumstances, but your internal state. The divine process ensures that things unfold when they will serve your highest good, not your immediate desires. Faith in the process also requires you to let go of the illusion of control. It's natural to want to map out every detail of your journey, to predict and plan your way to success. But life rarely works that way. The more tightly you cling to your plans, the harder it is to see the doors that are opening around you. Trusting the divine process means being open to unexpected paths and outcomes, knowing that they may lead to something even better than you envisioned. Another vital aspect of this trust is gratitude. When you focus only on what isn't happening or what hasn't arrived yet, you miss the beauty and lessons in the present moment. Gratitude shifts your perspective, helping you see the gifts and growth that are already taking place. It reminds you that every step, no matter how small, is part of the larger journey. Ultimately, trusting the divine process is an act of courage. It requires faith in something greater than yourself, a belief that life is not random but intentional, guided by a wisdom that sees the bigger picture, even when you cannot. This trust doesn't eliminate uncertainty, but it transforms your relationship with it. Instead of fearing the unknown, you begin to embrace it as a sacred space of possibility. When you trust the divine process, you free yourself from the constant need to figure everything out. You allow life to unfold in its own time and way, knowing that each moment is preparing you for the next. And as you walk this path, you'll come to see that the process itself, the waiting, the challenges, the unexpected turns, is just as meaningful as the destination. Trust it, and you will find that everything you need will come to you at exactly the right time. An inescapable part of life. And though it often feels like a weight too heavy to bear, it serves a higher purpose. It is through struggle that you are refined, shaped, and prepared for the calling that awaits you. Like a raw material placed into the fire to become something extraordinary, your challenges are not meant to destroy you, but to transform you into your strongest and most authentic self. When you face struggles, it can be tempting to view them as barriers or punishments, but they are neither. They are opportunities, albeit difficult ones, to grow and evolve. Struggle forces you to confront your limitations, insecurities, and doubts. In the process, you discover strengths and capacities within yourself that you never knew existed. It is only when you are pushed beyond your comfort zone that you begin to understand what you are truly capable of achieving. One of the profound lessons struggle teaches is resilience. Life's challenges often seem insurmountable at first, but as you face them head-on, you learn to persevere. Resilience is not about denying pain or pretending that everything is fine. It is about finding the courage to continue moving forward despite the obstacles. With each struggle you overcome, your capacity to endure grows, preparing you for even greater challenges and opportunities in the future. Struggles also bring clarity. When life is easy, it's easy to take things for granted or to become complacent. But when you're in the midst of a difficult season, you are forced to reevaluate your priorities, values, and desires. Struggle strips away the unnecessary, leaving behind what truly matters. It refines not only your character but also your sense of purpose. The struggles you face often reveal what is worth fighting for and what can be let go, allowing you to move forward with greater focus and intention. Struggles are also a form of preparation. Just as a diamond is formed under immense pressure, you too are being shaped for a greater purpose. The challenges you face equip you with the tools, insights, and strength you will need to fulfill your calling. Each hardship is like a lesson, teaching you something you need to know for the journey ahead. Without these lessons, you would not be ready to step into the fullness of your potential. Moreover, struggle fosters empathy and connection. When you endure pain and hardship, you gain a deeper understanding of the struggles of others. This shared experience of struggle becomes a bridge, connecting you to those who are walking their own difficult paths. It is often through your own struggles that you find the capacity to uplift and inspire others, turning your pain into a source of strength not only for yourself but for those around you. Another gift of struggle is the humility it brings. When everything goes smoothly, it's easy to fall into the illusion that you are in complete control. Struggles remind you of your limitations, teaching you to surrender to the greater forces at work in your life. This humility is not a sign of weakness, but of wisdom, a recognition that growth often comes not from trying to control the process, but from allowing yourself to be transformed by it. Struggle also strengthens your faith. When you are pushed to your limits, you may feel tempted to give up, but it is often in these moments that your faith becomes most real. Whether you call it God, the universe, or your inner self, struggle forces you to lean into something greater than your own understanding. It reminds you that even in the darkest moments you are not alone and that there is a purpose to the pain. Ultimately, struggle is not a detour on the path to your destiny, it is an integral part of the journey. It is through struggle that you are refined, gaining the strength, wisdom, and resilience you need to step fully into your purpose. While the process may be painful, the transformation it brings is worth it. So, when you find yourself in the midst of struggle, remember this: you are not being broken, you are being refined. The fire is not meant to consume you, but to purify and prepare you. Trust that the struggles you face today are shaping you into the person you are meant to become. And when you emerge stronger and more aligned with your purpose, you will look back and see that every moment of pain was part of a divine plan to refine you for something greater.